Okay, welcome everyone to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
We live in a world that's just awash with information, right? It can feel uh, totally overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, just a constant flood. Hard to know where to focus.
Exactly. So our mission here really is to try and cut through some of that noise.
Hmm.
We want to distill the absolute essentials, give you a kind of direct path to understanding the things that, truly matter.
And today, we're tackling a big one, a really influential book.
We're doing a deep dive into a book that honestly has profoundly reshaped how people think about building things, product businesses, especially when things feel uncertain.
We're talking The Lean Startup by Eric Ries.
That's the one. And while, yeah, you hear the name, you maybe think Silicon Valley tech startups.
Right, that's the common association.
But this book, it's often called a startup Bible for a reason. The ideas in here, they're really foundational for anyone innovating, anyone launching something new.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're literally in a garage or, an entrepreneur trying to start something inside a huge company.
Exactly. So, okay, let's unpack this a bit. At its heart, the lean startup puts forward this really bold central idea.
It boils down to start small, move fast, learn quickly.
Right. It sounds simple, maybe, but it's actually about applying almost a scientific approach to starting a business.
Absolutely. It's taking things that might feel intuitive, like experimenting or changing course, and wrapping a rigorous methodology around them.
And we're going to distill those core concepts right now so you can really grasp why they're so powerful.
Yeah, and the real engine driving this whole thing, the core feedback cycle, is what Ries calls the build, measure, learn loop.
Okay, build, measure, learn. Let's break that down. So build that first step. It's not about building the perfect final version of your product straight away, is it?
No, not at all. That's a key mistake. It's about building something testable, something you can get out there quickly to start learning. It might not be polished.
Okay, so build something basic, then measure. That means getting actual feedback, real data.
Exactly. Real data from real customers
Mm.
or potential customers, not just relying on, what you think they want or what they say in a focus group maybe.
Right. And then the final piece, learn. That's where you take that data you measured.
And you analyze it. You learn from it. And that learning directly informs your next move.
Yeah.
Do we stick with this feature? Do we change the target audience? Do we tweak the product?
It's this continuous cycle designed specifically to slash wasted effort, wasted time, wasted money.
Building things nobody actually wants. It forces you to validate you're on the right track.
Can you maybe elaborate a bit on that? Because starting with something imperfect, that feels really counterintuitive, especially maybe for bigger established companies. They're used to polishing things before launch.
That's a huge hurdle,
Yeah.
actually. And central to getting over it, to that build phase, is the concept of the minimum viable product, the MVP.
Ah, the MVP. Heard a lot. Maybe I always understood correctly.
Definitely often misunderstood. It's not just an excuse to launch something sloppy or, half-baked.
Right. It's about figuring out the absolute bare minimum version of your idea
The simplest thing you can build.
that still lets you effectively test a core hypothesis, a core assumption you have about your customers or your market.
Exactly. It's about maximizing learning while minimizing effort. Ries has that famous quote.
If you're not embarrassed by your first product, you launched too late.
That's the one. It's memorable because it cuts right to the heart of it.
Yeah, it forces you to confront that big fear, right? Spending ages building something in isolation, perfecting it, only to find out nobody
Later.
cares.
The MVP is designed to prevent that. Get real-world feedback fast.
I like the analogy you used before we started recording, the chef testing a new restaurant concept.
Oh, right. Yeah, instead of building a whole 5-star place up front.
They run a pop-up, maybe just 1 or 2 key dishes, see what actually lands with real diners.
Exactly. It's about focused learning, not just, being quick or lazy. It's strategic.
Okay, so the MVP helps you build something to learn from. What kind of learning are we talking about?
This is where validated learning comes in. This is maybe the most fundamental concept.
Validated learning, okay.
The core argument Ries makes is that startups, or any new venture really, they don't exist just to make stuff or, execute on a plan.
Their primary purpose is what?
To learn. Specifically, to learn how to build a sustainable business around their vision.
Okay, learn how to build a sustainable business. And that learning has to be validated.
Yes. Validated by reality, by experiments, by seeing how real people react to your product or service in the real world. It's not validated just because you think it's a good idea or your co-founders do.
So every decision, every feature, every marketing campaign, it's like a hypothesis.
Precisely. A hypothesis that needs testing. You need empirical evidence.
Okay, so you've got your MVP out there, you're measuring the results, you're doing this validated learning. What's the next big step in that loop?
Well, after you've gathered that data, that validated learning, you reach a critical fork in the road.
This is the pivot or persevere decision, right?
Exactly. Based only on what you've learned, the validated learning, you have to make a strategic choice.
Choice one, pivot, which means
Making a significant change of direction. Maybe you change your target customer or your core product feature or your business model because the data showed your initial hypothesis was wrong.
okay, so a major course correction. Or choice two, persevere.
Persevere means the data is validating your current path. Your hypotheses are proving correct, you're seeing positive results, so you double down. You keep going, optimize, scale what's working.
And the key is that this decision, pivot or persevere, it's meant to be rational, scientific almost, not just based on gut feeling or, wishful thinking.
Ideally, yes. It's driven by the evidence you've gathered through the build, measure, learn loop. It connects everything together.
And how do you actually track if you're making progress in this kind of environment? It's not traditional accounting, right?
No, it's not. And that's why Ries introduces another key concept, innovation accounting.
Innovation accounting. Okay, what does that look like?
It's really about shifting your mindset about what constitutes progress for a startup or a new initiative.
Away from just tracking activity, like how many features did we ship?
Exactly. Or away from what we call vanity metrics, things like raw page views or downloads that might look good but don't actually tell you if you're learning or building a real business.
Okay, so what does innovation accounting measure?
It focuses on measuring validated learning. It asks, are our experiments teaching us what we need to know? Are we making progress towards finding a sustainable business model? Are we reducing the fundamental risks and uncertainties in our venture?
So it's about setting up specific metrics tied to those learning goals, like conversion rates in an experiment or customer retention rates for a new feature.
Precisely. Things that show genuine customer engagement and value creation tied back to the hypotheses you're testing.
Yeah.
It helps you make those pivot or persevere decisions based on real learning, not just hope.
Okay, stepping back a bit, the power of this whole approach, build, measure, learn, MVP, validated learning, innovation accounting, it seems pretty clear why it's been so influential.
Absolutely. It gives you a really actionable framework. It's not just abstract theory.
And it's got those compelling case studies, right? You mentioned Dropbox, Zappos.
Yeah, he uses real examples to show how companies actually applied these ideas, which makes it much more concrete and believable.
It also just feels very aligned with how business works today, doesn't it? Fast-paced, needing to be agile.
Totally. The old model of spending years developing something in secret before a big bang launch just feels way too risky now for many things.
And maybe the most important point, its principles really do apply way beyond just tech startups.
Yeah, that's key. The applicability for those entrepreneurs we mentioned, people trying to innovate inside big established companies, that's huge.
Because they face similar uncertainties when launching something new, even with resources behind them.
Exactly. Now, it's probably fair to say, while Rise brilliantly lays out the why and the what, some people, maybe those really deep in, say, complex financial modeling or specific technical fields, might find it a bit light on the super granular how-to.
Okay, so more of a strategic framework than like a step-by-step tactical manual for every possible situation.
I think that's fair, but as a strategic framework, it's incredibly powerful and pretty indispensable, I'd argue.
So thinking about our listeners, who should really be paying attention to these ideas? Who should grab this book or, really take these points from our deep dive to heart?
Well, obviously, aspiring entrepreneurs and startup founders, it's practically required reading there.
Right. But also
Product managers, definitely. Anyone responsible for developing and launching new products or features, business students, for sure.
and as we've stressed, those innovation teams inside larger corporations.
Absolutely. Basically, if you're involved in launching any kind of new idea or initiative into the world where there's uncertainty,
Which is most new things.
right, then this methodology offers a way to navigate that uncertainty much more effectively.
It seems the general feeling is this is kind of a must read, or at least must understand, for modern business builders.
I'd agree. It provides this lean, flexible, scientific way to figure out what people actually want.
And in doing so, saves potentially enormous amounts of time, money, and frankly, heartache.
Yeah, by helping you avoid those common pitfalls of building based on unproven assumptions.
Okay, so let's bring this home for everyone listening. What does this all really mean for you?
Hmm.
If the lean startup teaches us that the real goal is to learn how to build a sustainable business and that every single decision should be treated like a hypothesis that needs validation through experiments,
Yeah.
what does that actually imply for things like, say, the traditional really rigid 5-year business plan?
Right. Or for that relentless pursuit of just rapid growth, even if it's not, validated growth, does it change how we think about those things?
It has to, right. And maybe thinking even more broadly, how could you apply this kind of scientific approach outside of business to any new project or idea in your own life?
That's interesting. Like, could you define your own minimum viable product for a personal goal?
Yeah, like say you want to start a new habit or learn a skill or even tackle a big personal project. What's the absolute smallest version you could test?
And what real-world data points, not just feelings, would you measure to actually learn if it's working for you?
Exactly. What would tell you whether to pivot, try a different approach, or persevere, keep going with that habit or project?
It's a really powerful way to look at things, isn't it? Treating life's questions, big or small, almost like little experiments you can learn from.
Definitely something to think about.